Well, I am here, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a busy night, but long lost Paul, Paranormal Paul is in here. Good to see you. I've missed you, brother. I haven't seen you for about 20 minutes or so. I was just on Paul's show. That was just a bit earlier. So if you missed that, you can go and watch us kicking back and chewing the fat. Paul and I, and of course Krista from Blondes and Booze. So it was a great discussion. We had a lot of fun. So, but I got done there and came right over here. I'm in the same place, but it seems like I went somewhere. I did have to set everything up quick and get it rolling. But thank God I had a little bit of foresight to do some planning because I knew I was going to be on Paul's show. So that was pretty cool. But how you guys doing? Thank you for joining me. As always, it's Saturday night here. It was a quick commute. Yeah, I'm fastball. I don't waste any time, brother. I just hit the freeway of love, and next thing you know, I'm right here in the portal. So there you have it. Isn't that Aretha Franklin song? Freeway of love. But I ain't got no pink Cadillac. I'll just say that. But good to see everybody. I see Jed Maxwell came in. That's a new name to me. But welcome, Jed. Hope you make yourself at home and make this a home for you. By getting subscribed, of course, if anybody's here checking it out. Paul was singing that. I'll bet you were. In fact, I want to see the video file of that. And we'll open the show with it. We'll open the portal with Paranormal Paul singing Freeway of Love from Aretha Franklin. There you go. That probably might even get me demonetized, but it might be worth it. Sorry, camera broke. Oh, in the last 20 minutes. Isn't that convenient? All right. Anyway, we got a whole lot of show coming up for you guys. I am here. Hey, Bad Boy. Bad Boy was over there too, hanging out. The guy's everywhere. Bad Boy is just everywhere. Deborah Neighbors, how you doing? Wizard Moon, good to see you. Barbara Mora is here. Rachel gets it right, of course, is here, as is. Who else? Again, Jed Maxwell. I've stopped by a couple of times before. Well, good. I'm glad you came back. Thank you so much. Hope you get subscribed and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. But at any rate, I wanted to acknowledge your presence. Jed, thank you so much. Excuse me. Hold on. Muting. There, I got better. All right. I'm just scrolling up here. Got John Stevenson is here. Audacious Amber is here. How you doing? She says, aye. Oi, Amber. Are you one of them landlubbers then? That's kind of a really screwed up pirate, but that's the best I can do on short notice. Grateful Owl is here. Mickey G is here. Good to see you. And Grantardo is here. Good to see you as well. John Stevenson and John Temperin are both here, so we got the Johns covered. Didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. It's always good. It's always good to cover your John. I'm just saying. I'm not making fun of your name. It's just everybody knows you got to go to the John, right? Anyway, I'm an idiot with a microphone, so you're going to get all the stupidity I can fill it with. It comes right out of my sound hole right to you. And I'm looking for anybody else. Maggie M10 is here. Good to see you. T-Bone. Barbara Mora's over on Rumble as well. Good to see you over there, Barbara. Thank you for popping in. I always say as I'm scrolling and looking for new names. And I don't know, that might be the gist of it. Grateful Owl is here as is wonderfully expected of her, of course. Mickey G, I said hello to you. I think that might be everyone on the front end. Oh, Cecil Webb Jr. is here. Good to see you. Good to see you, Cecil. Thanks for coming in. Phil Funk is here. Getting the funk on up here in the chat. That'll be kind of the news intro is a bunch of 70s funk, I think. But thank you, Wes, for that. Yeah, I think that's everybody that's chatted. I'm scrolling up, so I haven't seen anybody came in. Kitty Cattywack. Oh, hey, Kitty Cattywack. Good to see you. Great to have you here as well. And I think that might be the everybody's so far. So let me go down to the bottom here. See who's popped in. Nathan Nate popped in. Good to see you. Amy Creel is here. How you doing, Amy Creel? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in and checking out the show. I appreciate that, and love to have you make this a home of yours as well. Hit subscribe and ring the bell, all notifications, and by God, you can be with us every time. Was someone named Magnus came in? Someone said, hi, Magnus. Where's, Magus or Magus. I don't know how you pronounce it, Magus or Magus. I always presumed it was Magus because there's not magic. Nobody knows magic. They know magic. So I don't know. I ran into Bigfoot 5 times. Late 2 were the mean ones? ? The nice ones are in a book. Wish I could get the name. Huh. That's pretty interesting. How do you know? Well, I don't know. That's pretty cool. Sorry, I'm just scrolling and reading T-Bone again. So it's good to see everybody that's come in so far, and thank you so much for being here. Amy would never lead you wrong. What happened? What is Amy talking about? Had enough K-pop. K-pop. All right. Well, listen, we got a lot to get to here on the show. That's me saying hi to everybody quick as we get started. And Steve Garza came in. Good to see you, Steve. And thanks for coming in. I appreciate that a bunch. He did a hand pink waving. Yeah. So on the screen chat, so on YouTube, there's an actual emoji that's a pink hand waving, but my screen chat, which comes through Restream, actually translates the emojis, which is kind of funny. So I got to look over on the YouTube and see just what that looks like. But Amy Creels came through as a flower on both. I don't know why the pink hand waving it didn't get, but anyway, there you have it. As did Wizard Moon's hand waving and sunglass emoji. All right, well, we're going to get to the news, cover some news articles. There you go. Paranormal Paul got a face green smiling on the screen. So there you have it. Just very, very literal in its translations. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know. It's not up on my YouTube screen. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is. There it is. Okay, well, we're going to get to the news. We're going to get to the Discord question of the week, which I realized I never opened Discord yet, but I'll have to do that later. When we get to that, that'll be following the news. Then we'll cover a few more stories from our thought catalog article dealing with 33 people having paranormal encounters. And then we'll cover the cryptids and see where we end up. Now, I do need to let you know, in case you're new, there's no set schedule for everything. What we get to, we get to. We can always sidetrack on a whole different tangent if you guys got questions or things you want to ask. I will do my best to keep an eye on the chat, but you may have to repeat it a couple times before I actually see it. As I'm reading articles, I'm kind of focused on the screen and not on the chat. So I don't have a good system in place to see both. So just put all your comments or questions in all capital letters. T-Bone coming in, rolling deep. Given 5 memberships. Robert Iaco has a membership now. North Alabama Cryptid, Mr. and Mrs. NAC, they're now members. Nocturnal Frequency Radio, welcome, and congratulations on a membership. Sugar Britches got one. Sugar Britches, where you been? Haven't seen you forever. Wonderful to see you again. And Brandy Byrne got one. So congratulations to those of you. I don't really offer a lot of member contents. I'm sorry. I just don't have enough time in my days, but it really does mean the world for those of you that are members that you are. I always endeavor to do more to make that more of a value for you guys. And I'm sorry that I've fallen so far short, but the Paranormal Portal is literally a one-man operation. And I'm doing 2 very different shows and coming up with content, responding to all the social media stuff, and scheduling interviews, doing interviews, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I just don't have enough time for everything, but I'm doing my best. However, just know that your memberships mean the world to me, and they really do help keep the lights on here in the portal. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you to all of you who have just chosen to become members. And to those of you who have been gifted members, I appreciate it. I appreciate those gifting, and I appreciate those of you being members, because More the merrier, right? All right, so we're going to get to the news and dig into what the hell's been going on, at least in the last 24 hours since I did the news last. So let's find out what's been going on now. I hope you guys are ready to get informed and entertained, hopefully. And you might learn something. I don't know. You never know. It surprises even me, but sometimes we cover some pretty interesting stuff on the news here. So hopefully you enjoy it. But ladies and gentlemen, and special thanks again to Wes Germer of Sasquatch Chronicles for making this incredible intro to the news. Let's do it. Rachel says, always pack a snack. The portal goes to places unknown, probably far from a 7-Eleven for snacks. That's true. There's no 7-Elevens in the portal because God knows if there was, I'd be a lot fatter than I am. So that is probably a good thing. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. And I'll be your anchor, Brent Thomas, as we dive into the Paranormal Portal news. Now, throughout the course of the show, I utilize a lot of different sites and articles. I can only ask you guys, please support these sites. Please visit them. Please check them out. They're incredibly well done, and they need your love and support. They need your traffic because when you have a website, of course, they host ads and stuff, and those sites are paid by the traffic that visits for exposure to the ads. So please visit these sites. I know you're going to love them anyway. You're already into the paranormal, so what the hell? But check it out. These sites are amazing. Why is my chat not scrolling? It should be scrolling. I got to keep manually clicking the down arrow to get to more. Okay, now it looks like it's scrolling. Maybe I missed it. It wasn't as low as I should have been, but anyway, this is the news. And first article up is going to be from an incredible site that we've been utilizing here on the portal for a long time. What in the hell? Waiting for my browser to catch up. The old portal computer is getting tired and old, ladies and gentlemen. There it goes. Finally caught up. All right, this is the first article from unexplained-mysteries.com, an incredible site that is always impresses me, and I hope you guys will check it out. The first article, I think, is a big nope, but you can be the judge. I'm just scrolling. Again, my browser's got to catch up with me. Man, it's just doggy tonight. It's a doggy computer. I don't think I got a lot more going on than usual. In fact, I closed a bunch of stuff just to make it a little quicker. Here we go. Now it caught up with me. All right, here's the first article again from unexplained-mysteries.com. This is UFO Phenomena Files. Could the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident had been caused by plasma? I'm going to say no. I mean, it is a question. My opinion is no. They did see a craft. They saw even what looked like some weird form of hieroglyphs on the side of the craft. The two initial contactees, and by contactees, I mean they saw it come down. They went and investigated it in the forest, and it was a weird craft. I don't know if it was more of a sphere or a saucer, as I recall, but they did see these weird hieroglyphs on the side of the craft. One of the guys touched the craft, and he was bombarded with like tons of binary numbers after that, ones and zeros and all kinds of craziness that he ended up scribbling down. But that doesn't sound like plasma to me. Anyway, let's read the article and see what the article says. It said Britain's most famous UFO case may not have actually had anything to do with extraterrestrial visitors. Based on what? Based on what? The incident itself, which occurred in Rendlesham Forest, England in December 1980, saw U.S. servicemen stationed at RAF Woodbridge witness a strange object over multiple nights. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, and his men had gone out to investigate when the unidentified object was spotted descending into a nearby woods. Our security team observed a light that looked like a large eye, red in color, moving through the trees, Halt recalled. After a few minutes, the object began dripping something that looked like molten metal. A short while later, it broke into several smaller white-colored objects, which flew away in all directions. Yeah, not necessarily the properties you expect from plasma. It's like that already doesn't sound like plasma. So how do you get the plasma idea? Excuse me. In the years since, many have come to refer to the incident as Britain's Roswell, but not everyone subscribes to the belief that the Rendlesham UFO was extraterrestrial in origin, because there's plasma balls all over the place that break up and fly away intelligently, of course. One of these is Philip Mantle. That's his name, Philip Mantle. Director of Investigations for Bufora, the Brit... Who came up with that acronym? Bufora, the British UFO Research Association. I hope nobody from Bufora is listening. It's not my intent to piss you off. If you look at these what this involves said to begin with, the only concrete info was that they saw some strange lights in the forest, he told Metro, and that's what we start off with. Yeah, okay. That still doesn't make it plasma. Mantle has drawn particular attention to a official MOD, Ministry of Defense, investigation into the UFO phenomenon known as the Condon Report, which highlights the possibility that the men had come into contact with in the woods that night was some form of unknown plasma. What? What is unknown plasma? Dr. Ron Haddow was concerned that this plasma emitted some kind of electromagnetic energy which could interfere with aircraft communications or cause some sort of cognitive impairment, said Mantle. I think there's some cognitive impairment going on, but it's not with the Rendlesham people. Anyway, let's continue. It could be that these soldiers came into contact with this strange plasma and one of them got too close and suffered from some of the electromagnetic effects. It was even suggested that the plasma itself could have been a natural phenomena. Really? According to author Albert Boudin's research, the Earth naturally produces these electromagnetic forces and sometimes gives off these strange lights, this plasma, said Mantle. Some people can be hypersensitive to these lights. In other words, they're allergic. There's a plasma allergy now. Okay. And if you come in contact with these things, you can have the most bizarre experience. And you'll think it's absolutely real. Like meth? I don't know where this guy's going with this hypothesis. Whether or not this explains the Rendlesham Forest incident, however, remains a matter of debate. Yeah, well, they don't address the fact that it was also seemed peculiarly interested with the nuclear storage that was there, which is hand in hand with UFO reports. I mean, there's so many reports of the military being harassed by these UFO things. And they definitely seem to be around nuclear storage facilities, dealing with nuclear weapons or anything else nuclear. That seems pretty intelligent for plasma to me. But at any rate, I don't buy into this for a second. What do you guys think? Do you think it was plasma? I mean, I feel dumber after reading this article than I was when I started, and that's saying something, really. But there you have it. That's the first article. The plasma. I heard this on Art Bell years ago, Mickey G says. Okay. I still don't believe it anymore, even if it was on Art Bell. I don't think you do either, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, these theories are not new. This guy's grabbing onto it, I guess, because he needed a headline to support Boofork or whatever the hell it was called. What? That's the worst acronym I think I've heard in a long time. Hey, where do you work, Boofork? The hell's that? I'm just being a dick, I guess, but that is, it's kind of irritating when the proposed explanation is even more bizarre than just saying, well, it was a unknown craft of unknown origin, or it's plasma we're just not familiar with and have never seen before. Okay. They both are, I suppose, sound out there to anybody who's a skeptic, but I don't think a non-answer is an answer. I don't think you offer more bizarre stuff in place of that. It's like, oh, it's swamp gas reflecting off Uranus, or Uranus reflecting off a swamp gas. You know, I mean, it's or ball lightning, which you hear about a lot, but it's pretty crazy. Hey, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, bring in the cabbage. God bless you. I don't think you counter a theory with an even more implausible theory. I don't think that's how this should work. I'm not saying it's necessarily from the outer space or whatever, but whatever it is, it was very physical. It actually, I think Halt's recording said that they found possibly tripod marks in the forest when they went over there and officially investigated as well. There's a lot that's not being mentioned in this. It's an article, and perhaps that Mantho guy has a much more robust explanation than what was included in this article, but still, I don't think you can just exclude everything else just to say it might have been plasma. Okay. Because plasma breaks up and flies off in multiple directions all the time. Never does that. Okay. Anyway, that's the first article. Did you learn anything? Is the news teaching you anything? Taught me that guy's an idiot, but I don't know what it taught you. I'm probably not doing anything for my reputation on a world stage here, but come on. If you're going to explain something away, bring a theory, like a real theory that has meat and taters on it, not that it's some other esoteric energy that we don't know anything about. It's like, really? That's where you went? I think it was bunnies. Really? Might as well be. All right. Well, anyway, let's go to the next one. Wish I could think of now. Think right now. Haha, sure, there are some puns here. Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay, a big clunky force field. The aliens were there. It wasn't a secret, so they go all out with bright force field around the craft. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Cool Hand's up in here. Good to see you, Cool Hand. Thanks for coming in. Love me some meat and taters. Taters? What's taters, precious? What's taters? That's my column. Was it okay? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if that was a good column. All right, let's go to the next one. And this one is from unexplained-mysteries.com as well. And stupid fat hobbitses. That's my other Gollum impression. So anyway, this is the next article. And tell me what you think. All right, this one is from Creatures, Myths, and Legends. Could this natural phenomena help to explain the Loch Ness Monster? Let's get into it again with some more plausible deniability. Let's see what goes on in this one. I just can't wait. I'm sitting here with bated breath. Now, a little background on the show. I don't pre-read anything that I cover here. I don't pre-read any of this. So it's all brand new to me as I'm reading it as well. Great impersonation, Brett. Thank you, Kitty. Appreciate it. Woody the Woodpecker? Oh, that's awesome. I wish I could do that laugh. I can't make my lungs and throat work that quick. or do a Woody Woodpecker impression for that matter. But I used to love Woody Woodpecker when I was a Ute. All right. What's a Ute? An expert in all things. An expert. So we're already starting out with what? There's experts with Loch Ness Monster, really? Let's see what's going on. An expert in all things related to Loch Ness has put forward an alternative explanation for sightings of Nessie. Okay, let's hear it. Bet you it's not plasma. Here we go. There have been countless sightings of the enigmatic Loch Ness Monster over the years, but despite this conclusive evidence of the creature's existence continues to remain thin on the ground. According to Alan McKenna, founder of the Loch Ness Exploration, There could be a good reason for this. He argues that a lot of monster sightings in the loch can be explained by way of natural phenomenon known as a standing wave. Under the right circumstances, can look like a large humpback creature in the water. A standing wave occurs when two boats' wakes of the exact same frequency and amplitude are moving in opposite directions on the loch surface, he said. When the two boat wakes finally meet and interfere with one another, the results have the potential to create a standing wave. Fair enough. I've actually grew up on the river in Minnesota, and we would see these standing waves all the time. I didn't know that was what they're called, but I know what he's talking about. Do Homer. No, I'm reading. We know that standing waves exist and they've been reported, but what we don't have is the footage showing the natural standing wave in motion. I wonder how you get the natural ones. How does that exactly work? McKenna aims to rule out as many conventional explanations as possible so that reports concerning something genuinely explained can be more readily identified and investigated. It's a process of elimination in my mind, as most potential Nessie reports can be explained, he said. Without being disrespectful, I tend to follow the reports made by the locals, and the reason being is that they see the Loch Ness every day. I dare say that they are more knowledgeable than tourists. Fair enough. I would agree with that. If you're unfamiliar with Loch Ness and its natural behavior, then I do believe that many people will be fooled by the water and certain illusions. It's easily done. Well, I didn't see anything too comical with that one. I mean, sure, yeah. Waves can look really bizarre. A Scottish Homer. Christ! I don't know if I can do one, honestly, because it makes me shape my tongue differently. Homer's got this, and I have to open my mouth up big, but when I'm doing Scottish accent, I got to tighten it up. I don't know. I can try to figure one out for the future. I don't know how to do a Scottish Homer. That'd be interesting. Anyway, I'm not really known for my impressions, but there has been land sightings. You're right. That's true. There have been. Hey, Unknown, good to see ya. Good to see ya. Eric Fry came in as well. Good to see you both. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah, sure. I'm sure people see stuff. If you're not really familiar with bodies of water, even like I've mentioned many times on the show, I grew up on the shores of the Mississippian. The crazy stuff that really soggy logs will do in the water almost look like a creature that's, kind of emerging and then submerging and then slowly emerging again. And it can be pretty curious, but eventually you'll see and go, oh, well, that's definitely a tree because, it'll roll in the water and then a branch will come up. It's like, yeah, that's a tree. But it can be surprisingly convincing, but again, yeah. All right, a few people I hear do the old man from the Family Gut. Family Guy. Oh yeah, that whistly talk. Yeah, I actually, my old bass player could do a hell of an impression of that guy. Do the whistling, talking about Chris and stuff. It's like, oh God, it was hilarious. But that's the second article. I don't know what you guys think of that, but I don't know. I don't like it how it opened up with expert. There are no experts in any of this. The Grateful Dead for a cult. They are Freemasons. More Mason stuff. Gotcha. All right, we're going to go to the last article tonight. For the night, I should say. Excuse me, got a cough. So 2 hours of talking will get you. I've already had an hour and a half in on Paul's show, and now I'm talking again. So you get more of my respiratory fun. How big is this? No, it's not too big. Okay, here we go. Well, good news, folks. They've actually found life from outer space. Just so you know, it's apparently exists. But let's see what it says. It says there's a catch. According to the article on unexplained-mysteries.com, microbial life discovered in asteroid samples, but there's a catch. There's always a catch. Let's see what the catch is. I was over on Paranormal Paul's show before this, Unknown, so I wasn't doing an extra long portal. Just Paranormal Paul. Jed Maxwell says the secrets of Laurel Canyon are very interesting. Yeah, that sounds cool. Well, let's see about this microbial life. That could be interesting as well, Jed. Let's check it out. Scientists were amazed to discover microbial life in samples that had been returned to Earth from the asteroid Ryugu. Was that the one that was farmed by the Japanese probe, or that, that spacecraft? Didn't they land and take samples and then fly them back? Anyway, let's see what it says. The samples, I guess we'll probably, it says right there in the next paragraph. There we go. Well, the samples, which were collected from the asteroid directly by Japan's Hayabusa 2 probe and returned to Earth back in 2020, have been the subject of intense scientific analysis ever since. Well, last year it was found that the material, which was turned out to be the most primitive ever studied in a laboratory, contains uracil, one of the 4 nucleobases of ribonucleic acid, or RNA, which is one of the building blocks for life on Earth. But it was when the samples sent to Imperial College London were studied more recently that a discovery was made that had the potential to prove once and for all that we are not alone in the universe. Matthew Gengi, I don't know how to pronounce that, and colleagues had been studying the samples with a scanning electron microscope when they saw clear as day the telltale signs of filament-shaped bacteria. The researchers were so shocked that they were falling off their chairs, Genji recalled. And it was an exciting moment, but also in the back of my mind, I knew from previous studies how easy it is for bacteria to colonize rocks, he said. Sure enough, after conducting a thorough analysis, the researchers were able to determine that the bacteria, far from being evidence of alien life, was actually Earth-based bacteria that had managed to contaminate the asteroid samples. When we're preparing meteorite samples, for example, we don't usually see this colonization occurring, and that's because the chances are really low, said Genji, I don't know. In this case, a single bacterium fell on that sample and started to grow. Those damn bacteria. On the positive side, the incident demonstrates how important it is to avoid contamination and to avoid jumping to conclusions too quickly should something like this be detected in a sample. Our discovery really shows that you have to be so incredibly careful about that interpretation because samples are so easy to contaminate with terrestrial bacteria, said Genji. Well, there you go. I guess it's not extraterrestrial at all. The base is extraterrestrial, but not the RNAs and bacterium. So there you have it. Anything that makes the news is BS garbage. Well, there you go. Local Squatch is just putting it all out there tonight. You could be right. Hey, Dog Digger came in. Good to see you over on Rumble. And Big D, good to see you over there as well. Great to see you guys. Thanks for coming in and visiting with us as we continue our journey into the portal. And hello to anybody over on Twitch. If you're watching, thank you so much for giving this a shot. All right, well, that's going to wrap up the news. Hopefully you guys found that there was merit in your participation here on the news. That's what we aim for. Wonder why I'm so froggy. I guess it's living in the dry heater air just really sucks up the gurgles. I'm going to be on Untold Radio Network. Well, very good. Congratulations, Local Squatch. I hope you have a great experience over there. I know Doug Hijack and his son Alex are fantastic. I don't know them personally, but they've always come across as really wonderful people. Hi, Ruthie. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. That's wonderful. Excellent newsy news, Maggie says. Aw, thank you. All right, well, let's get to the rest of the show. It's time to jump back into it. And we're going to get to the Discord question of the week. If any of the mods want to put some links up in the chat, I would appreciate for the Discord so that we're ready. All right, let's get to it. Let's do it. I mean it. Now. Hello, Kimber. Hey, Rob. Good to see you, brother. I know Rob already gave us a donation. God bless you. Kimber, Amber was over on Paul's channel. Uncle Rob. Rob, you're an uncle? I didn't know that. Jed Maxwell says many recent UFO sightings have been over the ocean or seen coming from under the surface of the ocean, suggesting there are aquatic aliens. Man still has not reached the bottom of the oceans. Well, I tell you what, I believe that probably a lot of them have probably been living here for a while, and if they're avoiding being around us actively, then probably the best place to put their base is where we're not, which is in the depths of the ocean. Like, I'm sure they have no trouble keeping their civilization rolling deep, deep, deep in the deep of the ocean. And they probably have figured out ways to circumvent, like the bends and stuff from rapidly ascending from an ocean depth. But yeah, I mean, that's where I'd put my base. If I could, and I didn't want people messing with me, it'd be on the bottom of the ocean. So I think, I don't know if they're necessarily aquatic. He's an adopted uncle. Gotcha, Kimber. But they certainly can be down there in ways that we can't currently. And so that puts them basically out of reach for our technology. And that's, I'm sure, what they would want if they're here and observing us or whatever. But anyway, The Abyss, yeah, that was a wild movie, Ruthie. Yep, good show back in the day. That was really cool, actually, now that I think about it. I haven't seen that forever. You just brought back a memory worm from long ago. All right, so let me open up Discord so we can do the Discord question of the week. Did anybody post the link from my wonderful mods? Did any of you post the Discord link? So if anybody wants to join, they can. Yeah, Rachel did. Rachel posted it in YouTube up above. You can check it out. Would love to have you join our Discord. It's absolutely free to any of you. I'm going to put it over on Rumble. And so the people in Rumble can see it as well. But it's absolutely free. Doesn't cost you a thing. It's discord.gg/paranormal portal. And special thanks to K-Love for that, because she elevated our Discord server until we could secure a URL. She's a listener that's out there, but wonderful person. But thank you so much for that. All right, let's see. I'm going to go order the DVD. There it is again. Thank you, Rachel, for putting it up again. All right, don't worry about spelling. There's no, we don't grade the chat and hand it back, so you're fine. Who is that? Wizard Moon. Oh, I like your picture, Wizard, I see you updated your picture. That's cool. Good to see you. Good to see you. The last one was really small. I couldn't really see you. But now I can see you. All right. Let's get to... I didn't even open it. I was just flapping my lips. I didn't even do what I was going to do. Let me open this up. Be patient with me because, of course, my computer is tired and old. So it may cause delay or lag spikes. Don't let it freak you out. We'll just continue on as soon as everything catches up. Double clicking. Cross your fingers. Oh, it is up. Good. Wow, that was quick. Came up really quick. My computer surprised me. My computer really surprised me. All right. All right, I got the Discord up, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a segment that I've really loved doing because it really gives you guys an opportunity to take part in the conversation in the group. If you like our chats on YouTube and of course Rumble as well, a lot of those same people are over on the Discord and are continuing the conversations even when the show isn't live. They are just an incredible group of people, and we welcome you to become part of it, take part in all the conversations. I'll give you a little Discord tour because I know we got some new people in here that haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to show it to you now. Oops, it's not time for that. I did it last night. I did it again today. God bless it. There, I think I'm better now. But this is Discord, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time for the Discord question of the week. Oh, that for creepy. Uh-huh. All right, it's the Discord question of the week. This is our Discord community you're seeing on the screen. This is the Paranormal Portal Discord server. A lovely place to hang out. We'd love to have you stick around. All right, there's obviously lots of things you can do here. There's lots of discussions and things to discuss or check out what other people have posted. When you first join, you're going to be in the general chat. And I see Zombie69 joined. Congratulations. Thank you, Zombie69. Appreciate you coming on to the Discord. Aussie, I know the shirts. I appreciate Aussie Tiger. So I did a giveaway actually like a month and a half ago. And I did the orders just as a side note. And the company that I use is Teespring. And I think they're just called spring.com now. But anyway, they're one of the companies that YouTube works with to put the merchandise shelf under your videos and stuff. So I've worked with them and it hasn't been a problem. But all of a sudden the orders are just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So I had to reach out to Spring and find out what it was. And they're like, oh yeah, we really apologize. They didn't let me know this is going on. So these orders just sat in limbo there forever. But they told me that they had a problem with one of their printing partners and had a real issue with them. So they dumped that printing partner and were becoming established with a new one, and they would be catching up really, really quick. Well, unfortunately, these orders have sat for like a month and a half now. I was going to do a giveaway around Thanksgiving, but given the problems, it's like I'm not even sure I'm going to be working with this company if they don't get this straightened out in a hurry. But unfortunately, the winners of the giveaway t-shirt, I usually do a t-shirt giveaway every month on our Discord server and every month here well, at least on YouTube for the members. So if you're a member, that is a member perk that you will be eligible to win during those giveaways. But I haven't been wanting to do another drawing until I know that they're going to be getting these shirts out there, or I got to switch companies. So I just wanted to put that out there so you guys understand. And Aussie, if you're out there listening to me, I'm doing the best I can, brother. I can't print these shirts myself. I'm relying on them to do their job, and I'm almost convinced I'm going to have to move to a different company, but they did send out a couple orders just recently, so the needle's moving, but just so if you please understand. I know Barbara's waiting on a shirt, and Aussie's waiting on and Justin Good Earth and so many others. So hopefully we'll get those out. Hopefully they'll get their crap together and get this straightened out. But just so you know. So that is the news about that. But when you're in the general, the Discord is a little weird for people that aren't really familiar with it. It's not a hard program to learn. You just literally, these are the threads of discussion. The giveaways happen here. When I give away shirts, they're here. You'll see, and I'll post it to everybody that's a member. Hey, if you want to enter, let me know. Because there's no barrier to enter. If you're part of the Discord, you're already entered, as long as you tell me you want a shirt. Then there's a tutorial for those that are new to Discord and don't really know how to use it. Then you can watch these videos that Sheldon posted up here that walk you through it. And question of the week is where we're going to be going. But there's episode discussion. These are specifically conversations about things that we discuss on these live streams. Then there's Bigfoot thread, Dogman thread, ghosts, UFO, extraterrestrial encounters, cryptids, music. People have put up their favorite music, which is funny. This is great. There's a Foster. Somebody put up a Foster. So that's got to be Maggie. Is that you, Maggie? That's awesome. Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee. All right, and then there's Strange Phenomena, Paranormal Library. People recommend books and things that they've read or enjoyed to let other people know about. There's Paranormal Movies, and there's an art gallery. People posting arts. We have a lot of people doing AI art and stuff and showing, and the actual hand-done arts, like Sinfully Wicked posted here. And there's Grizzly Stitch, who is now behind me, behind the glowing moon. Right there. Standing up, its head poking up above there. That's sitting here in the studio now. Paranormal Humor, which is always good. It's the latest must-have accessory. What does that say? Catway? cat wave. I don't know what that means, but that's cute. That's cute. Where you can just see things that are humorous. And then the Paranormal Kitchen, where people post paranormal recipes and stuff like that. So coffee Doritos. Oh, dear God. Oh, that sounds horrible. Anyway, this is our Discord community. We'd love to have you become a part of it. And Grizzly Stitch. Yep. It's actually Gris, Gris, I think. And then Lee and then Stych. Grizzly Stitch. That was named by Rachel, who also won a shirt. Rachel, did you ever get your shirt? Let me know if you would, please. I do art. Let me know if you need some stuff. I do lots of weird stuff. Yeah, if you join the Discord, post it in there, Josh. Appreciate it. Love to see what you make. It's important to never confuse grandma recipe book with her spell book. Oh God. Yeah, that's hilarious. The flying turkey from hell. Yep. All right, but we are concerned about the Discord question of the week, and this has been championed by our very own Chucky Danger, who is a mod and an admin over on the Discord, and he comes up with a question to ask you guys every week. Again, this is your opportunity to weigh in. So let's get into the question. This is from the 25th of November that it was posted. We're reading it now. Question of the week. According to the double slit experiment in science, matter has to be observed in order to be solid. With this in mind, do you think this principle explains why ghosts, spirits, cryptids, and other strange phenomena are only ever simply observed with no other interaction? The human brain has been theorized to be a highly complex particle decelerator. So if a higher frequency dimensional being comes to our plane of existence, do they need the observation of a human in order to manifest as solid? That's an interesting thought. I'll weigh in at the end. So Eric, the Wandering Purple Hobbit, comes in first and says, I think they manifest for you. It's for you. Who knows how many spirits or ghosts or what have you are floating through the areas we inhabit? It's something I doubt our science will ever be able to explain. Excuse me. As I always say, there's just so much we don't know about so much. Yeah, good point, Eric. Great points. Devin comes in next with a pretty robust paragraph here. What's interesting to me is that with what we think are ghosts can actually do things to us physically. So they must have to harness energy somehow or somewhere. Ley lines, high EMF areas, in order to interact with the third dimensional reality in a more consistent manner. Well, as for cryptids, I've heard theories where they could be a product of genetic tampering throughout the ages by our own doing or beings that are from another dimension and come to this plane due to solar or spiritual intervention with Earth and Earthlings. I think he means Earthlings. It says Earthings, but Earthlings. But they could instead just exist solely physically without our observation, being necessary for them to show their presence in places. Reasons like traces of themselves, such as footprints, demolished forest areas, scratches on physical objects, animal mutilation, blood drainage, etc., with unseen forces. I do think there is some truth to the mental energy output or fixation we project on spirits or other worldly entities that could welcome them into our lives to interact more physically with us if we invite it. Active communication or on an energetic/spiritual level being the spark to these sightings or even physical experiences if a connection is strong enough and makes sense to me. Yeah, some good thoughts, Devin. Thank you for sharing that. And he comes in with a pretty robust few paragraphs, actually. I like it when you guys break them up into paragraphs. It's easier to read. A block of text is hard to keep track of sometimes. So my understanding is that this matter exists as a potential in a wave front. Measurement, which is a form of observation, affects how the wave's probability collapses into our reality. Wow, that's deep. But it's more than just a double slit experiment. Just the act of observation affects that collapse, double slit or not. That's why physicists remove themselves from the lab when running particle experiments. The questions posed speak speaks to a larger and profound question. What's there when it's not observed? From a singular perspective, things are there only the individual perceives them. Yet we appear to have a shared reality. So what is doing the observation? Is it God or gods? An overmind, a simulation that observes everything, since matter is thought by many to act like information. I'm of the opinion that we're in a simulation. Whatever is running it can create or discorporate whatever it wants without violating the rules of our universe's existence by all that much. This means that all sorts of hypothetically possible energy beings can exist, that levels of existence can touch each other, that consciousness seems to influence the establishment of tulpas, or whatever they are. Tulpas are like thought form energetic beings. I think it comes down to something not dissimilar from Buddhist cosmology, wherein consciousness affects how probability falls into reality, and where there are all sorts of beings, including ghosts on different levels of existence, arise into ever more complicated forms. It's like a universal net or jigsaw of existence. This means that we individually create our reality, co-create it, and exist within something else's dream. That's a great take. Where that puts what is this word? Panoply of supernatural entities is too difficult to say because the scale varies too widely. Thus, a ghost may be a dead person's spirit and a dimension of the jinn exists, but in some cases, like the ghost, an individual has created that, while the dimension of the jinn comes from something far larger than 8 billion people going about their lives. Wow. That is a whole bunch of incredible ideas. That's very, very impressive, Annie. Nice job. I mean, they're all great answers. Don't get me wrong. I love every one of your answers, but that was just a whole lot to think about. Wow. Maggie M10 comes in and says, I'll have a go at answering. I think it might not be possible to answer this from a three-dimensional perspective. Good point, yeah. Personally, I really don't know, though. Perhaps it's incomprehensible how it happens. The block universe theory, where past, present, and future are happening simultaneously, comes to mind. It says time may not be passing at all, and the perception of time may be a relative to you and limited. I agree. It states that time travel may be possible. It also speaks of the universe as being a four-dimensional block. It's an interesting read, in my opinion. I don't know, but it may be something similar along the lines of flatlanders and how they would be unable to comprehend a 3D object and only see small parts of an object that come through from a higher dimension. Perhaps full objects can manifest briefly without the bigger picture, like looking through a peephole. If time is an illusion, for want of a better term, and is all happening at once, perhaps we are catching glimpses or snippets. Great take. Great take. I really like the idea that our future selves can influence our past selves as much as vice versa. Perhaps that ties into the past and future lives as well. Maybe we're seeing a past or future version of ourselves when we see unknown ghosts. Perhaps, as the block universe theory suggests, time is relative to ourselves. These paranormal perceptions are also relative to ourselves and us individually, and also limited. I don't think it would require a human to observe to manifest it. I think some of us would be seeing things all of the time. I'm not sure the plane of existence would necessarily be separate. Perhaps it's all around us all of the time, just not observable from a 3D perspective. Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. Perhaps it's more like seeing a rainbow where the sun is at the right angle and the observer catches a glimpse of what is already there due to the sequence of events rather than manifesting it into existence. Right place, right time. Sure. and well, I'll get into it more. Just throwing some thoughts at the hat. Yeah, great thoughts. Yeah, that was great, Maggie. ZX81V2, time is illusion, yet it is all we exist for. Huh. That's profound, actually. ZX81V2, thank you. Sinfully Wicked comes in next, says, I think the quantum physics has nothing directly to do with humans, or with human observation. It's an objective science, just as, say, geology or astronomy is an objective science. It's true that in experiments such as the double slit experiment, detection of the system's state occurs, but quantum detection has no necessary relation to humans. In detection, a quantum system entangles with a microscopic detector, such as a Geiger counter, in a witch slit detector, or a viewing screen. This entanglement causes the collapse of the system's wave function and can result in a quantum detection or measurement. But none of this has anything necessarily to do with humans. For example, when a high-energy proton from space impacts a sand grain on Mars and moves the grain, that's a quantum measurement. No humans, no human consciousness is required. Just my opinion, and you know what they say about opinions. Great thoughts. Karen Alberting says, I can't even come up with an answer here. I'll have to sleep on it. Fair enough. I mean, these are some incredible responses. Rachel comes in next, says, they may need a human to manifest. I'll talk about ghosts, as cryptids are, in my opinion, a different kind of creature. We've seen videos where a security guard is talking to no one, but he sees someone. Yeah. He's being observed himself via security camera that only picks up himself. But it seems that some apparitions are caught on artificial technology, not a human brain, on film, on video as well. I've heard a story where someone was looking in a mirror and a horrific ghost appeared behind them in the reflection. Yeah, that's psychomantium. If it was, it could be an inadvertent psychomantium, which is a practice as old as ancient Egypt, actually. The mirror is a very basic technology as well. I think the answer for speculation is yes, the human brain can observe spirits. Young children can, some adults too. In other cases, it might be the result of the ghost's willpower to appear. Ah, great point. It is something that the living accomplish. Manifesting things into existence, who's to say that ghosts don't manifest themselves into spiritual or visible existence as well? Good points. Good points. You guys are blowing me away on this week's question. Barbara Moore says, Chucky, my friend, this question is over my head. I'm still trying to figure out why they're here. That's the best I can do on this. Just so you know, your question was incredibly well thought out. John T says, no idea. Now, I would say, just getting back to Chucky's original question, which was, is it the human brain has been theorized to be a highly complex particle decelerator. So with this in mind, do you think this principle explains why ghosts, spirits, cryptids, and other strange phenomena are only ever observed with no other interaction? Well, there's a lot of levels that could be interaction. It could be an urge to do something, a memory. It might be something that you're led to think about as a result. So I think we often gauge interaction as, I'm talking to you, so I'm interacting with you. But there's probably a lot of other esoteric interactions that we do regularly, even with each other, that we don't really pick up. And I think empathy is one of those senses where you pick up the other interactions, and most of us, I believe, are empathic. I don't think that that's a unique thing. But the interesting conundrum with the question is that is the presence there if no one's there to observe it? Well, realistically, no, because nobody, and simplistically, no, because it's only an observed event if someone observes it. It doesn't mean that these events require an observer. It's just that there's someone to observe. But again, I do think we are an integral part of our experiences, that these events don't just happen to us. I believe that in some way, shape, manner, or form, we are facilitating these experiences as well. Like something, and it may be mostly subconscious. It might not be something that we're consciously directing ourselves towards, but we are still manifesting that to a degree, and maybe just manifesting a state of awareness to experience these things. So it's wow, what a big question though. That's fantastic, guys. Chucky, fantastic question. And then I think the responses were absolutely off the charts, incredible. You guys are like scary smart. Sometimes you guys really, I mean, you always blow me away, but this, just the depth of levels of these responses, like, oh my God, you guys have really done your homework. So incredible. And I don't know your personal backgrounds. Hell, you guys might be, theoretical physicists out there for all I know and have all this stuff really dialed in. But just in reading through these, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so impressed. Very, very, very great. Very great angles, very great ideas, and very great theories. So you guys are incredible. It was hard, but excellent answers. Heaps to think about. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thank you all. I just feed them and call them my friends. I don't really ask any questions. They love being called the people. Yeah. Well, even the Native Americans referred to the Sasquatch or Bigfoot as forest people or other versions of that. They weren't ever calling them beasts or creatures or whatever. They referred to them as like another tribe usually. And that's pretty good. I just really am impressed with your responses tonight, though. Thank you guys, everybody that took the time to weigh in on this and to share your thoughts and ideas. I think it's marvelous. So that's going to wrap up the question of the week. Again, feel free to join the Discord and take part in these conversations yourself. Cost you nothing. You just got to get a little used to Discord. Discord is free to download and install, and it's free to use. And you can do a lot of things. There's even voice channels down here. I've never, ever seen anybody use these. Sheldon and I have used them from time to time, but generally speaking, they're here. I think you guys have access to them. If not, if you want access to them and you don't have it, let us know. Let Boonabar know. Boonabar is Sheldon, and you can message him directly and say, hey, I want to access the voice channels. By all means. I don't, if you guys are members, you can communicate to each other. You can do it on screen or just vocally. It doesn't matter to me. This is a community. Utilize it, however, just as a point of reference, though. Keep politics out of it. Keep it dealing with the paranormal, at least mostly. I don't care if you guys spiderweb into different discussions. That's fine, but just keep it appropriate. This is a collection of people, and it's, I know we all have supercharged opinions. I got a bunch of them myself, but I just try to make the portal a good place for everybody from all walks of life, all ideals. I sincerely love you all, and I want to make sure that everybody feels like, it's a good place to hang out. So just keep it good. But thanks, Chucky. That was a good question, brother. That's going to wrap up the Discord question of the week. So let's get back to the rest of the show. I kind of killed that quick, didn't I? I got a little anxious there. Lost a few rounds of 31 with the family. Not sure what 31 is, but sorry you lost. Better luck next time, brother. I need a drink quick, and I'm going to get one. That lovely snapping plastic. If I finish one of these, I'll do the bottle thing again tonight. I haven't done that for a while. I'm going to do a science experiment right here on the show. We're going to atomize water. If I finish one. It's a card game. Gotcha. Okay. Maggie's been playing Exploding Kittens. What the hell is that? That's a little disturbing, Maggie. What's going on? You got a dark side? I didn't even know this. Exploding Kittens. Phil was watching wrestling. Okay, fair enough. All right, so we're going to jump back into the Thought Catalog article for a couple of snippets from there, and then we're going to jump into the cryptids. Again, if you got questions, just put them in all capital letters so they stick out to me. I'll keep an eye on it. We are on number 20 of our list of 33 people reveal their terrifying encounters with the paranormal. Again, this is from Thought Catalog. I'll put it on screen here. Excellent site as well. And there's so much going on over at Thought Catalog. You can check it out. But this is the Thought Catalog article. 33 people reveal their terrifying encounters with the paranormal by Hoke Leah Sim. I don't know. This name is all screwy to me, and I'm sorry to the author. I just don't know how to pronounce this for sure. It's from October 26, 2014, but we're going to get into this now. What a creepy picture, though. Oh, my God. Yikes. That's not even nice. Some guy creeping on some woman. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to number 20 here and dive into it and see just what the hell's going on. That was 16. And we got a big one from Sasquatch Chronicles to go through tonight when we hit the cryptid corner. So we're going to do that, dealing with the yowie in Australia. Yowie. He's Australian for Bigfoot. I'm playing on the Fosters there, Maggie, just in case you wondered. I don't really know exactly how Australians say Bigfoot, but I did my best. All right, here we go. Let's get to this. 33 is an occult number that tells the... Oh, local Squatch is still on the Freemasons. All right. Well, you know, yowie. Yeah. Oh, okay. Good, Maggie. Maggie, you got the inference there. All right, here we go. We're on number 20 tonight, and we're going to start out there. This isn't really scary, more of a paranormal interesting event that I swear on. When I was in first grade, I was pretty close with my Sunday school class kids. Obviously, we only saw each other once a week, but we still all got along great. One morning before church, my parents asked me if I knew a kid named Greg in my class, and I said, yeah. And they proceeded to say that he had suffocated in his sleep the night before. I didn't really understand the concept and seriousness of death at the time, so I just said, oh, and just kind of brushed it off. Although I absolutely fully understood that I wouldn't be seeing Greg anymore. Well, the weekend before, Greg had made a little aluminum foil helmet that he ran around in during recess, saying that he was an astronaut. So back to when my parents told me about his death, I looked into the sky expecting to see his angel floating up to heaven. I swear, I saw him spreading his arms and flying through the clouds, wearing his aluminum astronaut helmet. You're all going to think it was just my little kid imagination, and I don't believe in ghosts at all, but what I saw that day has stuck with me ever since. And I think because seeing him running around in his astronaut helmet was the last time I saw him with a smile on his face. But when I saw him in the clouds upon finding out about his death, I coped with his passing just fine. That was from Boromir of Gondor. It's obviously come a long way since the quest. Boromir of Gondor. All right. Number 21 is a short one. When I was a child, my brothers and I would hear a young girl crying in our house. My dad tried to approach the sound, but then it all became silent, and then he heard the same girl say, "Mommy," right behind him. After a while, we just ignored it, and it just seemed to go away. That was by Love-Child. Love Child. The O is a 0, though. Yeah. There you go. That's a cute, concerning story. Cute, bizarre. All in one. Number 22, when I was 5, I lived with my grandparents on a farm that was built in 1912 because my mom had joined the Army while she was single, and the Army won't let you have a kid without family. The original owners had been, I guess, unalived and buried in unmarked graves behind the barn. Well, years later, someone poured concrete over the graves. And of course, of the 3 years I lived there, every single night, I would hear dishes by the sink rattle and be, it says groan, I think it's thrown, and be thrown against the floor. We would wake up every morning to broken dishes on the floor. I'd also been pushed multiple times, and I used to play with this small kid that I guess wasn't real. I would play tag with him. And that was by the Snowy Eskimo. Okay. These are all Reddit scrapes, so I mean it comes from Reddit threads. But yeah, Probably not a ghost child. Exactly, Rachel. I'm not a real big believer in ghost children. I'm not saying it's impossible. I just don't think it's likely. I don't know. It could happen, but it's a very foreign concept to me. All right, we're going to do this one, number 23. It was a few months ago, and I just moved into my new student house with a few friends, and they'd all gone home for a few days because it was summer break. But I just stayed there. I was home alone, and it was awesome for the first day or two, and then things started to get a bit weird. For example, small things had been moved, like some of my notes, or like the TV remote, and I just assumed that it could have been the wind or something. Yeah, TV remotes don't normally blow around. Just going to throw that out there. The next few days, I started to hear noises in the night. Not like loud noises, more like small whispers, as if someone was in the house trying to be quiet. But I just thought it was my brain just playing tricks on me. Well, the night after that, I heard a door slam, and it woke me the hell up, and I sleep like the dead. So I got up and started freaking out because the bathroom light was on. The light switch is on the inside of the bathroom. I went to try and open the door, and it was locked. And the light then turned off, and the door unlocked. But no one was there. But I screamed and hid under the covers for the rest of the night. I stayed up all night and then went home to my parents for a few days until the other guys came back. When I explained it to them, they called BS, and nothing has happened since. Wow. That was by Anonymous. We don't know who to attribute that story to, but yeah, I don't know. Those one-off events are weird, and sometimes, when you're alone, there seems to be more of a likelihood that you'll experience something than when you're in a group, but not exclusively. Maybe it was just transitory. Maybe it just popped in for a few days and then just popped out. I don't know. Number 24, when I was a dumb kid, my brother and I were playing around on the stairs. I was at the top jumping around in a pillowcase. Well, I slipped, obviously, and went tumbling down backwards. Everything went in slow motion, as things sometimes do when your life is in peril. Well, as I was flipping over and over, the back of my skull getting closer by the second to smashing into the hard concrete basement floor, I noticed a movement coming from the dark basement, and suddenly a large bag of dog food flew across the room as if hurled by an invisible hand with absurd precision, and interposed itself between my head and the floor. My skull smashes into the bag a millisecond later, spraying kibble instead of my skull fragments around the room. My brother and I were both slack-jawed and confused. The flying bag had traveled at least 10 feet, likely saving me from death or at least serious injury. I used to think this was evidence for God or angels, or that I have some kind of purpose, but I realize this is evidence for nothing in particular except that my life is bizarre and unexpected things can and do happen. That was by Almighty Zentaco. That's interesting. I mean, yeah, that's phenomenal. I mean, it's an incredible intervention. It could be a divine intervention. I don't know why this person is saying, no, that wasn't a guardian angel or anything else. It was just, my life is weird. The end. I don't know. I think, I guess people come to their own conclusions. So there you have it. Let's go to number 25. I have a ghost that occasionally visits me in my sleep and tells me things that either are about to happen or things that people are hiding from me. It is a female, and from the looks of what she's wearing, she's either from the 30s or the 40s. A few things I can recall off the top of my head. When I was in high school, she told me that one of my friends was going to break his leg playing a sport he doesn't usually play. And the next day, this happened. She told me that a girl I had a crush on was going to give me her number, and it happened 2 days later. She told me when both of my dogs were going to die, and she now also shows their spirits to me. They haven't left the house. They still act the same as if they were alive. Now, the creepiest one for me is that about 3 months ago, she told me that I was missing a female figure in my life. I questioned her, saying that if I should be married or something, and she laughed and said it was family and that I should go ask my mother. Well, I asked my mom about this, and it turns out she had a miscarriage about 2 years before she had me. It was supposed to be a girl. There have been a few other incidences, but these are the ones I can recall at the moment. And that was by Skull Zombin. I don't know. Crazy. Crazy. Number 26, I work as a press photographer. One day I was photographing a family whose house was haunted. I don't believe in anything like that. Anyways, as I was photographing them in the living room, there was a crash and a bang from the kitchen. We went in and the cutlery drawer had flew out and emptied itself across the floor. That was really freaking odd. I had a good look around for any string mechanisms in the drawer, but there was nothing. And that was Done by the Hands. What time is it? Because 8:21. I think we'll stop here and I'll just cover the last of them on the next show. But there you have it. I hope you guys found that interesting. But wait, there's more. Oh my God, I just realized this. Huh. I'm gonna have to pop open some more stories. I thought I had more pulled up. I thought I did. Well, maybe we have enough. I guess it's going to be time right now for this. Special thanks to Grateful Owl for that transition. That was beautiful. I always love that one. I love that peal of lightning, the thunder. It's like, oof, just grabs you by the shirt. We'll go with shirt. All right. Here we go. This is first one is up from Sasquatch Chronicles here in the Cryptid Corner. I don't know if there's another one or not. I think there's one more after this. And then we'll see where we're at with time. But this one's pretty long. I was going to read it last night, but I was like, no, we're not reading that last night. Because you can see there's bunches to talk about here. Let's see what's going on. Oh, okay, cool. Maybe we'll close with that one. Just got a message from Mr. Groomer. Yeah, that looks cool. Very cool. And hold on, one more. Okay, very cool. Yeah, we'll look at that in a minute. Thank you, Wes. I appreciate that. All right, so this is a story from Sasquatch Chronicles. We'll probably close with the last one that he just messaged me about. November 21st, Yowie, the Australian Bigfoot. Yowie, the Australian Bigfoot. That's not bad, right, Maggie? All right, anyway, Dean Harris of AYR says I have a terrible Australian accent. I love Dean. He's so awesome. All right. A listener writes, hey there, Wes. I hope you're doing good. I've been listening since the start, and I love your show so much. I've been very reluctant to share this with you, but in hopes of sharing these stories with your audience, I'll find some other locals that have experienced the same thing as I did. So we can connect, and I don't feel so alone anymore. Ha ha ha. I don't really know how to start these two encounters, but for the first, I'll be sending this to you on a mate's behalf, as he doesn't want to believe in such Bigfoot humanoid creatures roaming our God's country. The second story will be my own encounter that I had 4 months ago. First encounter location, Roseburg, east of Cowra, New South Wales. And this was 2 years ago. So my mate told me this. He was going on a weekend camping trip by himself, as that was his hobby, to go outside and enjoy what the bush had to offer. He would camp and hunt deer on private property he had permission to be on, and just spend a couple nights enjoying the peacefulness of nature and to disassociate from society for a bit. Kind of like a refresher, if that makes sense. Yeah, it does to me. I love being out in the woods. Anyway, he told me that on the second afternoon on a Saturday, around 3 p.m., he was calling in deer so he could eat and was hidden in a blind, when all of a sudden, after about 30 minutes of calling, he notices movement in the tree line. And he said he watched this figure, which he thought was a deer on all fours, walk slowly towards him. Note that he said the tree line was about 150 to 175 meters away from his blind. And the lay of the land is flat with small hills that lead into small mountains and valleys that are heavily vegetated. And I can confirm this because I've hunted the same area before him. Anyway, as this creature that he still at the time thought was a deer gets about 50 meters away from him, it stands up on its back legs and looks directly at him. He said it felt like him and whatever this creature was made direct eye contact through his rifle scope. He then told me it took one leap that closed another 10 meters from one another, so bringing the creature about 40 meters away. And once it did, he told me he yelled, "Back off." I'm going to not use that first word. "Back off, I've got a gun and I'll shoot you." And once he yelled this, the creature made a deep, hollow growl and bolted at him in a full sprint on its back two legs. Standing up, and he fired a single shot towards it, and then the creature turned around and sprinted back to the tree line. But he said as it was running back to the tree line, it transitioned back to all fours, and he followed it through his rifle scope, and then it vanished into the tree line with all the heavy vegetation. He told me that the face resembled Santa with black hair, which was really strange to me. He said the beard was all black, including all other facial hair and head hair. He said the eyes were pure black with no eye whites. He also said the body resembled Mike Tyson, really wide upper body and slims down towards the waist and legs, and had a massive back. He mentioned it didn't have a neck either, and it looked at him with its body, like its whole body moved with its head. And that's all he told me, but we also sat down and made a diagram of the location, what happened that I'll attach, and I also have a video showing the area. Second encounter, location Tallow Dam, south of Moss Vale, New South Wales, 3 months ago. So it all started when I had left on a Friday afternoon to go on a camping trip down the coast and came back on a Sunday. The drive was about 2 hours to the location that I was going to, called Tallow Dam. I had planned to canoe up to the dam and camp in a valley to do some fishing, hiking, sightseeing. Well, I arrived at the car park around 4 p.m. and immediately packed the canoe with my camping gear and started the 3-kilometer row upstream. I was losing sunlight fast because the mountains casting their shadow into the dam. And about 2 kilometers in, I heard this hellish scream or roar. Kind of reminded me of someone bleeding out with blood pooling in the throat, as gory as that sounds.
Washington.
No, this is Australia. That's the ghost box. It said Washington, just out of nowhere, which is literally just about 45 minutes away driving. So Washington is right next door to where I am. Not D.C., the state, just so you know. Where was I? So it's a hellish scream or roar. Sounded like somebody had blood pooling in the throat as they're dying. I never heard this before, so I shrugged it off as a lyrebird making their strange noises, but it certainly caught me off guard. I finally arrived at the campsite and started on making a fire immediately before setting up my swag, etc. Fire was my first priority as it was in the middle of August in the winter, and the sun had basically set. Well, I got the fire going and set up my swag and decided to go for a night fish, as Australian bass, which was my target species, are definitely more active at night. Well, I hiked probably 500 meters upstream, and I saw a stick structure. It was 3 logs that had been placed kind of like a teepee or pyramid shape. I didn't really think much of it until 5 seconds later, I heard that same hellish scream or roar, which then got me thinking about my mate's story for some reason, and I just freaked out. I quickly walked back to my camp and jumped in my swag, holding my knife towards the roof. About 20 minutes go by with not a single sound after getting into the swag, when all of a sudden I can faintly hear bipedal footsteps getting louder as it gets closer to me. Keep in mind, I haven't seen anything besides the stick structure. I also remember there being only one other car in the car park, and it was the park ranger's car. So, hoping it was a park ranger walking towards my swag, I yelled, "Hey, who's there?" And the walking stopped. 5 seconds go by, and the best way I can describe what happened next is it sounded like a 2-ton elephant ran straight towards me. I'm not a religious man, but when I tell you I prayed to God, please don't kill me like this, I mean it. As soon as the running reached me, it sounded like it took one big huff and then jumped over me, because the running sound stopped for like 5 seconds, and then a big landing sound happened on the other side of my swag. Then I heard it just take off running. Now, I stayed in the tent the entire night. This happened around 7 p.m., and I didn't eat dinner, get out to pee, nothing. I eventually fell asleep somehow, because the 3-kilometer row took all my energy, and I woke up at around 7 a.m. on the Saturday. My main objective now was just getting back to my car. So I packed up the camp and started the 3-kilometer row back to the car park. It was around 10:30 a.m. by the time I got back to my car, and when I went to open it, I realized I lost my keys. I looked everywhere for them, in the canoe and the camping gear, but I couldn't find them. I thought I put them in my pocket, so I thought that must have fallen out when I was packing up camp. So as much as I didn't want to go back up to the camp spot, I did the 3-kilometer row back up again. And once I got there, it was about 12 p.m., I'd say. So I quickly looked around the camp, and they were nowhere to be seen. So I then backtracked that 500-meter hike I did the night before in hopes of finding them, and lo and behold, they were hung up on a little stick coming off of a tree on the trail, which was super weird. So I think what happened is, when I was running back to the campsite after the scream, they fell out of my back pockets, and whatever this creature was, that I now know what it was, had picked them up off the trail and placed them on that tree, knowing I would have to come back and look for them. As soon as I picked them up, I started running. It started running at me again. I honestly think it was just playing with me and using me as entertainment, because it didn't actually get me, and it definitely could have if it wanted to. So by the time I got back to the canoe and rowed out to the open water, it had stopped chasing me. And I did the 3-kilometer row back to the car park with my keys. By the time I got back, it was 6 p.m., which was super strange, because I thought it was a quick 3-hour row there and back. But anyway, it felt like time had warped or fastened. I don't know how to explain it. Because this dam was property of the government land, they closed the access gates at 5:30 p.m. So I had to camp another night. At least this time it was in front of my car and not in the bush. The only car that was there besides mine was that same park ranger's car. There was actually a no camp sign in the car park, but my car wasn't big enough to sleep in with all my camping gear, so I just set up my swag. And it was about 8 p.m., and I was just going through all of what had happened, and I said out loud, and I don't know why I did, maybe because it was a rhetorical question, did I even check if my car doors were unlocked before? Well, I left to go get the keys, and before I left to go get the keys, and as soon as I did that, I heard my car door open, and I thought it was getting broken into by someone stalking my swag, so I quickly got up with my knife out of my swag and turned to look at the car and saw Harry and the Hendersons looking right at me. And that's the first thing that popped into my head when we made eye contact, was the actor in the suit is standing right in front of me. Then both of our eyes widened, kind of like an, oh God moment. And then he ran off into the woods, and I quickly laid back down in my swag. I didn't sleep that night at all, so when morning came around, I was up and out at 7 a.m. because they opened the gate at 6. I also forgot to mention I found a footprint coming out of the water and onto the land. I've probably missed a lot of details, but my fingers and brain are hurting writing all of this, and I'm hoping we can call, but I'm not too sure because you're in the States and I'm in Australia. But Wes, I haven't told anyone else my encounter sightings besides you, and I haven't even told my mate yet. Please get back to me if you have any questions, but I'd really like it if we could chat on the phone somehow and just talk about this, because I need to talk about it with someone. I've also included diagrams of where these encounters took place, and I'll also include photos I took at the dam while sightseeing, and a photo of the footprint I found at the edge of the dam. Oh, there's the footprint. Yeah, it definitely looks barefooted. But it doesn't look that huge. I don't know how big this guy's foot is, but it does look, it actually looks kind of narrow in the heel, honestly. But this is, again, August, so it's cold there. It's not like people would be running around barefoot. So it just could be a younger one. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear more about it, too. That's pretty crazy. Crazy story. Pretty powerful, though, too. What do you guys think? Those darn yowies, huh? Huh? Those darn yowies. I think I will go right to Wes's other story since we're still on the blog here. Let me just refresh it. I gotta look and see what he called it. I gotta look. It doesn't have to do with cryptids, though. It's actually about the Gilgamesh tomb being found. And the video clip is about 5 minutes. So let me just refresh this and see what comes up. Oh, there it is. Yep, it's the latest one. Let's check this one out. All right. Here it is from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. A little departure from the cryptids, but then again, Gilgamesh, the giant Gilgamesh. Tomb of the giant Gilgamesh discovered. BBC reports the Epic of Gilgamesh, written by a Middle Eastern scholar 2,500 years before the birth of Christ, commemorated the life of the ruler of the city of Uruk, from which Iraq gets its name. Now a German-led expedition has discovered what is thought to be the entire city of Uruk, including where the Euphrates once flowed, the last resting place of its famous king. I don't want to say definitively it was the grave of King Gilgamesh, but it looks very similar to that described in the epic. Jörg Fassbinder of the Bavarian Department of Historical Monuments in Munich told the BBC World Service Science and Action program. In the book, actually a set of inscribed clay tablets, Gilgamesh was described as having been buried under the Euphrates in a tomb apparently constructed when the waters of the ancient river parted following his death. We found just outside the city an area in the middle of the former Euphrates River, the remains of such a building which could be interpreted as a burial, Mr. Fassbinder says. He said the amazing discovery of the ancient city under the Iraqi desert has been made possible by modern technology. By differences in magnetization of the soil, you can look into the ground, Mr. Fassbinder added. The difference between mud bricks and sediments in the Euphrates River gives a very detailed structure. This creates a magnetogram, which is then digitally mapped, effectively giving a town plan of Uruk. The most surprising thing is that we found structures already described by Gilgamesh, Mr. Fassbinder stated. We covered more than 100 hectares, I guess. We found garden structures and field structures as described in the epic, and we found Babylonian houses. But he said the most astonishing find was an incredibly sophisticated system of canals. Very clearly we can see in the canals some structures showing that flooding destroyed some houses, which means it was a highly developed system. It was like Venice in the desert. Well, here's a video, and this is on Wes's channel, so let's check this out.
We had the opportunity in 2003 to test one of the oldest stories, if not the oldest story, of human civilization, and it's the Epic of Gilgamesh, a story that just might prove humanity's ET roots. Now, Gilgamesh is a really interesting figure. The Sumerian and Babylonian narratives speak about rulership over human beings, or kingship, as having come down from the skies. It's those who've come down from the skies who govern over human society for a long, long time, aeons and aeons. And then there comes a point where they hand over to human kings, and they somewhat recede into the background. In that story, there's a crossover king, a hybrid person called Gilgamesh. He's part sky people, part human. Now, that's a motif that recurs in mythologies all around the world. Go to any country in the world and probe the local mythologies, and there'll be a story of human-god hybrids. But is it just a story? Or is it the memory of something from our prehistoric past? Well, in 2003, we had the opportunity to test that scientifically because it appeared that we had unearthed Gilgamesh's tomb. In April 2003, a German-led research team announced it had found King Gilgamesh's tomb. It was an incredible moment in the history of religion and archaeology. Not much more than a month after the first US invasion of Iraq under George H.W. Bush, a research team led by Jörg Fassbinder of the Bavarian Department of Historical Monuments in Munich announced the incredible discovery they had made. With scarcely contained excitement, Fassbinder spoke to the BBC and said, "The most surprising thing was that we found structures already described by the Epic of Gilgamesh. We covered more than 100 hectares. We have found garden structures and field structures just as described in the Epic. By differences in magnetization in the soil, you can look into the ground. The difference between mud bricks and sediments in the Euphrates River gives a very detailed structure. I don't want to say definitively that it was the grave of King Gilgamesh, but it looks very similar to that described in the Epic. We found, just outside the city, in the middle of the former Euphrates River, the remains of such a building as could be interpreted as a burial place." What an outstanding opportunity to test the relationship of those mythologies against scientific fact. We could DNA test the remains of that person in the tomb marked Gilgamesh. Potentially, it was one of the most significant archaeological finds in history. Once the find had been located and cordoned off, the First Iraq War ended within a matter of days. What this gave us was the opportunity to understand the Sumerian kings list. Is it a literal account of beings from another planet ruling over planet Earth and then handing over to humans? Or is it something else? Should we read it differently? Here we had the opportunity to test it, and it was a unique opportunity. Sadly, the public investigation of the site was quickly interrupted. In 2005, Fassbinder wrote mournfully in the scientific journal of Dossier, Archéologie et Sciences des Origines, to translate it from the French text. Contrary to what some journalists have claimed, it isn't at all proven that our find corresponds with Gilgamesh's under-river tomb. We are sorry not to be able to give a more precise idea of the results of our magnetic investigation. But since 2003, all the archaeological sites of Iraq have been under a serious and growing threat. The lack of security in the country idolatry and the trafficking of art and artifacts are causing the total and irreversible destruction of archaeological sites by looters. All archaeological structures will be better preserved if we leave them under the ground, untouched and buried. And 16 years later, it's still buried. How can you bury an opportunity like that? Why would you not want to know if that account of human origins is rooted in fact or is pure fiction? It was important enough that during the Iraq War, protection was given so that Fassbinder could get in there with his team, but not important enough to probe in the 16 years since. This is a test that could answer one way or another. Was humanity engineered by an ET species, the sky people of the Sumerian narrative, or was our evolution pure chance? In the Epic of Gilgamesh, we read the story of the human being growing up wild and living like an animal in harmony with the other animals, and then being civilized by a female entity who introduces him to city living. That's how it goes in the Epic of Gilgamesh, but that story resurfaces in Tarzan. Again, the female entity, Jane, finds the wild man living in harmony with the animals and then civilizes him and brings him to the city. It's there in Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, in which Mowgli reaches the point where he's attracted to the human girl and wants to go to the human settlement to live as a human being. The Zulu tell the story of Mbabwana Warisa, the female entity who teaches them how to farm and how to make beer and how to live as a human society. Why is that story so resonant? Why does it keep resurfacing? Now, in those cases, I don't believe it's to do with probing the stories of antiquity and recycling them. I believe those are examples of how in storytelling our minds enter a place where we download information from a wider field of consciousness. And in our storytelling, we start telling the truth without realizing that's what we're doing. The narratives of Contact, Planet of the Apes, and the Epic of Gilgamesh all point to an ET intervention in the evolution of Homo sapiens. In those mythologies and stories, are we remembering something from our prehistoric past? Are we simply retelling the same story over and over, but it remains pure fiction? In the Tomb of Gilgamesh, we have the opportunity to answer that question definitively. This is a test that could answer one way or another. Was humanity engineered by an ET species, the sky people of the Sumerian narrative, or was our evolution pure chance?
Well, there you go. Wow. That's a whole lot to think about. This is allegedly the photo of the tomb. At least the body that was in there. But I don't know. That's surprisingly well preserved for being potentially underwater and subjected to all of that, aging. But still, is it possible? Well, yeah. I mean, God only knows. The scary version is what happened to the body, what's going on. Yeah. That's the scary part to me. It's like, well, where is that body now? Who's got it and what are they doing with it? What are they trying to do with it? That's the scary version to me. I don't know. Very creepy stuff. I don't know. What do you guys make of stuff like that? I'd love to hear your insights. And I don't pretend to know. I don't come at this with any informed knowledge, believe me. My stepdad has that blood type. What blood type is that? What blood type is that you're talking about? So I'm wondering about the origin of Beowulf and Grendel and his mama. Yeah. Yeah, is the Epic of Beowulf based on some reality? I got some more homework now. Yep. Who's theater body, supposedly? What? Who's theater body? No, this Gilgamesh is the Epic of Gilgamesh, of course. It was kind of a giant Nephilim guy or something. And he founded the city of Uruk, which is the namesake of what would become Iraq, I guess. One of my grandmothers had RH negative. Okay. Yeah, that's real common. A real common thread is the Rh negative rhesus factor rather in alien abductions. A lot of abductees have the Rh negative blood type, and that's kind of a biological anomaly in itself. That's a whole different anomaly. Like, where did the Rh negative factors come from? Apparently, it's quite unreal. The Dead Sea Scrolls are in my town at the Reagan Library. Wow, that's pretty amazing. The scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls are interesting, but it's the Nag Hammadi Egypt find, which is 42 years prior to the unearthing of the Dead Sea Scrolls, which included like the Gospel of Thomas and apparently the Gospel of Mary and several other of the discarded Gospels that weren't considered canonical after the Nicene Conference or whatever. So it's interesting. I did have a copy of the Gospel of Thomas, and it was actually pretty uplifting. It was, I don't know where that book went now, but pretty uplifting stuff and pretty interesting. I did see a speaking by Elaine Pagels of Harvard University. She was one that really believed the Gospel of Thomas was probably the earliest written of the Gospels, potentially decades right after the death of Jesus or the resurrection or whatever. So if you're into that, again, to each his own, but I think that's very interesting. And there's a lot out there, and the Gospel of Mary are both important. Sure they are. Yeah, but those were discovered in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, like 40 years prior to the Dead Sea Scrolls being unearthed. And they kind of sat in obscurity forever until much more recently. So, but yeah, that's some crazy stuff. I thought the Scrolls had a segment about Og and Moses fighting the giants. I think you're thinking about the Book of Enoch. I don't know about the Moses part though, but the Book of Enoch talks quite a bit about the giants, and some of that's apocryphal information. And I use the term apocryphal not because I don't think there's merit to it, but just as a term of understanding. Yeah. Yep. Well, there you go. I don't know. That was cool though. Thanks, Wes, for pointing that out to us and letting us know that was posted. That's really, really cool. That's why you got to check out Sasquatch Chronicles blog, ladies and gentlemen, because, Wes is constantly adding great stuff on there, much like that. It's not just a Bigfoot repository. He's got stuff on UFOs on his blog. He's got stuff on several different phenomena. And so you'll find a bunch of great information and, of course, references to other shows and episodes that people have put out, like Tony and like Strange Familiars and several other shows. So, and sometimes even The Portal, which is really cool. That's a personal favorite of mine. But very, very cool. Yeah. As always, The Portal is a journey into a lot of ideas. There's no real set formula for what we cover on the Paranormal Portal. And I'm happy to discuss pretty much anything, really, as long as it deals with this stuff. And, I'm not just a one-trick pony here. And I think it's important to note that neither are any of these sites like, Wes's Sasquatch Chronicles or Phantoms and Monsters or any of the sites we cover. They are all dealing with many, many topics and discussion points. So great stuff to dig into. But anyway, there you have it. There you have it. What are we doing for time? God, it's already 8:54. How did we get here, folks? I don't know. Time just flies. Time flies on the portal. But thanks again, Wes. I appreciate you pointing that article out to me and letting us share it on the show, as with the Yowie story. That was really, really cool. Great stuff. I really appreciate it. I guess that's pretty much going to be the journey tonight. So, again, if you guys are new, love to have you stick around and be part of all of these discussions. So if you're new to the show, please get subscribed. Please ring the bell. Thank you, Maggie. Says thanks Thanks so much for the great conversation and content, Brent. Well, thank you, Maggie. You guys make it amazing. I mean, honestly, otherwise I'd be sitting here by myself like an idiot talking to nobody. So you guys make it fun. Absolutely. And thank you all for being here and being part of the journey as always. It's a rare pleasure. Hi, Vince. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in, Vincent. Great to see you. Thank you, Ruthie, for being here. I don't know if I said hello to you yet tonight, but I see you've been chatting. But yeah, there's lots of incredible information out there. And I think as with any of this stuff, you got to dig, you got to look into all possibilities. You know, I'm not saying you guys should believe any of this stuff that we cover, but at least consider it. You know, all of this strangeness and weirdness and oddities that we discuss and cover, these are shaping our world, whether directly or indirectly. So I think it's great. I just love the journey, and I love that you guys are here with me. Thank you, Wizard Moon. Thank you. You guys are thanking me for the show. Thank you for being here with me as we go through the portal, as always. I truly love these journeys, and I love these times when we get together and talk about this stuff. Again, this is a labor of love for me. The live shows are. It's a blast to do it. It's so fun to see more of you guys coming in and being a part of what it is. So, and making it better. Thank you, Blue Cruise. Uncle Squatch. Thank you, brother. Uncle Squatch says, you put on a fun show, Brent. Thanks for the entertainment. Love your live chat. I love the live chat too. It's an equal draw just for you guys to come hang out together as it is to watch me do a show. I'm just so thrilled. You guys have made this your home. This is where you guys come, and it's an honor. And special thanks again to Paranormal Paul and for having me on earlier. That was a lot of fun. And I'm securing an appearance at their conference coming up in Missouri in September of next year. So if you're in the area and can make it to Missouri, it'd be cool to meet you guys. Any of you guys that are in the area, I'd love to have you come by. Enjoyed the portal. Thank you, Amy. I hope you get subscribed if you're not already. If you are, thank you already then. This is the place to be, Phil Funk says. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, we just threw it together, but you guys make it amazing. So thank you all. And I guess it's going to about wrap up the journey tonight. And this is the last live show until next Wednesday. So you're welcome to come back. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, we do these live shows. 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. So whatever that means to your time zone, you'll have to figure it out, but you're welcome to join us then. Join us every time. Josh Casto said, I'm going to try to make it, Brent. Excellent. Yeah. I would love to meet you, brother. It'd be great to say hello in person. I've really loved when I've had the opportunity to make it to these conferences and meet you guys live, because it's one thing to see you're in the chat room and to see the things you say and to, laugh with you and just have fun. But it's a whole nother level when I can just give you guys a hug and just say, hey, thanks so much. It just means the world to me. Barbara's been at many of them. Karen Alberting's been at many of them. And it's just been such a great experience just having the opportunity to thank you in person. So if I'm ever at a conference in your neck of the woods, please try to make it, because it would be an absolute honor to meet you guys in person, and you can buy me dinner or something. You should come and buy me food. Why not, right? Come to Australia. I that's on my bucket list, Maggie. It's not financially possible yet, but I'm hoping it will be in the next year or so. I don't know what this is going to turn into, if anything. Hell, the portal, everybody could lose interest tomorrow, and then it would just be something I would continue to do as long as anybody would be willing to have me, host my shows. Yeah, international friend here. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hugs. Just don't squeeze me. Gallstones. I hear you, Rachel, but it doesn't have to be a brutal hug. Just a hug. Guys or girls, I hug everybody. I just love the chance to meet y'all. So anyway, Paranormal Portal, would beer be something we can buy you? Well, I wouldn't turn it down, probably. I don't drink a lot. Usually I don't, but But I'm okay with throwing back a beer. I just, not really into getting wasted, but, getting old. The price I got to pay for getting wasted now is way steeper than when I was younger. Manifest that winning lotto ticket. Amen, brother. I wish I could. I've tried manifesting that for years. So if I figure out that formula, I'll definitely get on it, and I'll do a Paranormal Portal cross-country international tour. Come to all of you guys' houses, and you can have me over for dinner. That's not creepy at all, right? I don't know. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the show. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Big D. Great to have you here over on Rumble. And it's great to be here with you guys. Dog Digger, thanks for being here. And Barbara Moore over on Rumble. And thank you to all of you guys over here on the YouTubes. The Portal Buffet. Absolutely. Absolutely, Chucky. Absolutely. Okay, that's going to do it. I'm all out of ideas and all out of things to say. I'm running on fumes, so I'm going to call it a night, but I'll see you guys Wednesday. And watch for the new podcast coming out just this, well, I guess it's usually Monday, but maybe I'll release it earlier on Sunday. We'll see. We'll see what I get done, but at any rate, it'll be released on Monday. So keep watching for that. But that's what I got. So just remember, I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice to each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. That's it. That's all I got. The show is now over.
Woo!